Hello friends, this is Arshad Jagidar working as one of the faculty in Department of Civil Engineering of CKM Institute of Engineering and Technology. My today's topic is on beams and its classification. What is beam and how the beams are classified. We will first study what is beams and then we will go for the classification of beams. See, if you study the definition of beams, it is very simple. Beams is one of the structural member which is having its length larger compared to its cross-section dimensions. Usually for the analysis of the beams, we used to consider only its length, not its cross-section dimensions. So here beams are used to support roofs of a building in the structures. These are the beams which are used to cover the roofs of a building, or these are the beams which are act like support for the slabs in the structures. And these beams are acted upon different type of forces applied on it, and to maintain balance against those applied forces on the beams, we need to have supports. And here, while calculating the support reaction on beams, we follow Newton's third law. For every action, there is equal and opposite reactions. So this is just brief introduction about the beams. Beam is one of the structural member which is having its length larger compared to its cross-section dimensions, and these beams are used to support the roofs in the buildings, and these beams are acted upon or applied with different forces for which we need to provide the support reactions, without which the beam will not be stable. Right? Now coming to the classification of beams, the main classification of beams are into two types. One is determinate beams and the second one is indeterminate beams. The classification of beams are into two types, determinate beams and indeterminate beams. And now we will study what is determinate beams. Determinate beams is a beam which can be easily analyzed by using basic equations of equilibrium. Basic equations of equilibrium. What are the basic equations of equilibrium available? These are the three equations of equilibrium available. What are those? Sigma fx, sigma fi, sigma m. Sigma fx indicates algebraic sum of all horizontal forces. Sigma fi indicates algebraic sum of all vertical forces. And sigma m indicates algebraic sum of all the moments about any point should be equal to 0. If these three are equal to 0, then that type of beam is called as a determinate beam. Or the beam which can be easily analyzed by using these three basic equations of equilibrium, those beams are called as determinate beams. Now coming to the examples, what are the beams which are coming under determinate beams? There are three types of beams coming under determinate beams. The first one is simply supported beam, second one cantilever beam, and the third one overhanging beam. These are the three beams which can be easily analyzed by using basic equations of equilibrium. So they can be called as determinate beams. Now we will see how the simply supported beams are looking like. Just look at this figure, first figure. Here the simple supports are provided. Simply supported beam, name itself indicates the beam which is having both the ends simply supported at its end. That type of beam is called as a simply supported beam. Similarly, the next type of beam under determinate beam is cantilever beam, wherein one of the end is provided with a fixed end and the other end is free. A cantilever beam is one where one end is fixed and the other end is kept free. So that type of beam is called as a cantilever beam, which is one of the example of determinate beams. Now coming to the overhanging beam. The overhanging beam is a type of beam which is coming again under determinate beam, wherein the small portion of the beam which is extended beyond the support level, that portion of the beam is called as overhanging, but the total length of the beam is called as simply supported with overhanging beam. Here it is one of the type of overhanging beam where I have shown here. There are two portions of the beam which is overhanging. Look at here, both the ends of the beams are overhanging. That means they are extended beyond the support level. So those portion of the beams are called as overhanging. The total length of the beam is known as simply supported with double overhanging. Suppose if it overhangs only on one side, it is called as single overhanging. If it overhangs on both the sides, it is known as double overhanging beam. So these are the three type of beams coming under determinate beams. Now coming to the next classification of beam, that is indeterminate beams. Now how do you define this indeterminate beams? These are the beams which cannot be analyzed by using basic equations of equilibrium alone. We need some special method to analyze these type of beams. So those beams are known as indeterminate beams. These indeterminate beams are quite opposite of determinate beams, wherein these are the beams which cannot be analyzed by using basic equations of equilibrium alone. We need some special methods like Carney's method, slope diffraction method. We're going to study in detail about those indeterminate type of beams. But here you remember the definition of indeterminate beams. Indeterminate beams are the type of beams which cannot be analyzed by using basic equations of equilibrium. Now coming under the examples, what are the beams coming under indeterminate type of beams? The first one is fixed beam. First one is fixed beam under this category. Name itself indicates fixed beam. When both the ends of the beams are provided with fixed end, then those beams are called as fixed beam. The definitions are very simple. The fixed beams are the beams which is having both the ends provided with fixed. Those beams are called as fixed beam. Similarly, the next type of beam coming under indeterminate beam is continuous beam, and name itself indicates. Here the beam which is having minimum 2 number of spans and minimum 3 number of supports. The beam which is having minimum 2 span and having minimum 3 support, that type of support is called, that type of beam is called as a continuous beam. Now what is meant by span length here? Span length is a distance which is measured between the two supports. L1 and L2 are the two span length in a single beam having 2 span length. But how many supports provided here? 1, 2 and 3. 3 type of minimum supports provided, and minimum 2 span length will be there in the continuous beam. So continuous beam is that it is a beam having minimum 2 number of span length and minimum 3 number of supports. That type of beam is called as a continuous beam. And the last type of beam which is coming under indeterminate type of beam is propped cantilever beam. Here also the definition is very simple. The beam which is having one end fixed and the other end is provided with simple support. The beam which is having one end fixed and provided with simple support, that type of beam is called as propped cantilever beam. That is the third type of beam which is coming under indeterminate beams. And these are all the type of beam which cannot be analyzed by using these 3 basic equations of equilibrium. We need some special methods to analyze the beams. Hope you understand the type of beams and its definition. Like the videos, share the comments, and if you are not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching the video.